Hello YouTube, this is BUB'S Comics coming at you with an odds and ends kind of haul here. This is again from my little mini con. Picked up a ton of books, Bowling Green Comic and Toy Convention. So here we go. Here is DC versus Marvel Comics, which is funny because number one, because I think when you look it up, it actually pulls up, like on the CLZ app, it pulls up Marvel versus DC. So it's funny that it's flipped. They probably had some rule about that. So I think this is pretty cool. These are the ones that are harder to find in the wild just because they have all those characters on them. So surely there's somebody who likes it and wants to buy it. So, but I picked these all up for $2 a piece. And that is pretty awesome. I really like that cover. I just really like that cover. So of course this is like the first one, and this set up the all access where you know, the Amalgam comics and the Access comics. So this kind of set all that up. Here is Marvel versus DC. So that one's DC versus Marvel. This is Marvel versus DC, but it's still the same run. And this is number 2. See that? That's pretty cool. And here's number 3. A great Superman versus the Hulk. That looks awesome. Really like that. And here's number 4. So I got the complete set. I'm very happy to. So this is kind of where they start getting mixed in and become the Amalgam group. So that's pretty cool. And then picked up a couple of other odd things. Like I said, this is just kind of my mix of weird stuff that I pick up. I guess you call them novelties or promos or other stuff like that. Just stuff that's a little out there. Here's the Amazing Spider-Man. This is the promo there was a giveaway by all detergent. So it's all detergent giveaway. So I think that one's pretty cool. I didn't have this one, and it's an absolutely excellent copy of it. I mean, it's super sharp. That looks brand new. So glad to have that. The dealer wanted a little bit more than I wanted to give for it, so we had to work out a deal, but I got it for about I paid a little bit more than I wanted to, but he had already given me so many other great deals that when you lump it all together, I paid what I wanted. So I'm happy for it, and he was happy with the deal, so I got it. It's pretty cool. And according to him, he was the one that got it added to the Overstreet Price Guide, and was actually labeled as a contributor that year as he got it added. So and the story goes that he had to send in a copy for them to keep in order for them to add it. So that's what they did. Here is Marvel's Greatest Collections. This is kind of like a previews type book. Again, another promo comic. It's kind of a previews. It tells you what all is coming up, and it shows mostly graphic novels and trade paperbacks that are for various characters. So it's a pretty cool book. I flipped through it. I liked it. And it's in excellent condition and paid almost nothing for it. Here is Super Pro number 1. Now this is first collector's issue, but it's not to be confused with the special edition that was polybagged along with I think like NFL magazine or something. So there was a couple that were polybagged in there. So those are worth a little bit more money. This one's not really worth anything. But I just thought it was cool. I didn't have it in my collection, so I picked it up. Here's the fall preview, the CSN. I think it's Comic Shop News. So that's actually a newspaper. So pretty cool, though. Very happy to have that. I think the guy just ended up giving this to me because I had bought plenty of stuff from him. And I showed interest in it, so I was like, yeah, just take it. Here is Wolverine magazine, the special edition. It kind of irks me. I can't find this in the CLZ app, and you can upload one, like you can add things into the app, but it's kind of I don't care for the process. It's not real streamlined. But in any case, here's Wolverine magazine, special edition, of course, great classic John Cassaday Wolverine art. Absolutely love it. And it says it's got a collectible poster inside, which was not there. So, but I only paid $1 for it, so I can't complain. And it's pretty cool. And I didn't have any Wolverine magazine editions. I think there's 2 or 3. No, I think there's 4, not counting this one, which was the special edition. So. And then here is Secret Wars Special. This is a UK print of, it's volume 1, but there's no other volumes. So it's pretty thick, and it collects Secret Wars 1, 2, and 3. And has this pretty cool cover, so I just couldn't pass that up. It's a cover swipe of, I think, Secret Wars number 2. So pretty cool. It says a Marvel Special, and it's got the 120, is that pounds, I guess. So pretty cool. I like that. I'm very happy with it. And there you go. That's my little haul of odds and ends from the Comic Con, the little mini con that I went to. So I'll take a minute just to talk about that. This con was tiny. I think that they had under 100 people to even show up as customers. So, but the booths, I think the booth rentals were like $55, and they only charge $5 or so a ticket for people to come in. So at those prices, I mean, the buy-in alone, if you didn't have a brick and mortar store, or if you're like an online retailer of some kind of comics, then it's definitely worth the $55 to show up and have a booth. So that low buy-in means that you're going to get more collectors that show up to participate and sell their private collections, and those are usually some pretty sweet deals you can get on some of those books. So I was very happy about this con. I like these types of cons. I tend to go to them. I tend to even drive further for a con of this nature than I would for a big con. To me, the big cons are kind of all the same. I see the same books at the same prices. They're always really high prices. People say pay con prices, right? So these mini cons, if you have one in your area, I really recommend that you go to one, even if you have to drive a little bit to get to one, because they certainly do seem to me to have better prices than the larger conventions. And what's funny is that people complain all the time. Typically your older collectors will complain that, oh, the cons aren't what they used to be. You know, I haven't gone to a con since '75. You know, you hear that a lot. I don't go to cons anymore because I don't care about celebrities and wrestlers and all this other stuff, and I don't care about autographs, and all I care about are the comics. But then one of these cons opens up and nobody goes, or hardly anyone goes. And I'm always thinking, where are all those people that are always so upset about the way cons are now, and, you know, get all wax poetic about the way cons used to be? You know, where did they go? Because they should be showing up to these cons, and I think generally they don't. So, you know, my little lesson to you is you can't have it both ways. So if you're one of those people who like to complain about the way cons are currently, and everyone's entitled to their opinion and how they run things, I'm not knocking it. I agree most of the time. But if you're one of those people, then seek out these smaller cons, because even though you haven't been to a con in 20 or 30 years, these cons are much more similar to the ones that you remember and the ones that you wanted to go to. So, you know, go there, maybe sell some books or buy some books, and just kind of support that type of con. So that's all. You know, I felt like this con should have been a little bigger, and should have had, as far as attendance, there should have been more people there. I was surprised. But, you know, I can always say their loss is my gain, because I picked up, you know, a ton of books, about 100 books I picked up, and I really got great prices on all of them. But I just wish that some of the people there that had bought a booth and had participated in this could have made even more money. The biggest sale of the day was a double-signed House of Secrets 92 7.5 CG seed, and it sold for $1,200, which at 7.5, the $1,200 was about the right mark on price, but for the double signature, I think it should have went for $15 or $16, especially considering one of the signatures, the guy's, you know, he's passed away, so you can't get that again. And it was CGC, and it was a new case, and it was absolutely beautiful. And it was no, it wasn't a new case, it was an old case, because it was a witness signature. So, you know, it was really nice. And one of the other dealers bought it at the end of the day, which I thought was nice too, because a lot of times the dealers will kind of go beforehand and buy out from each other some of the best stuff, and then they won't, you know, it's not there for the rest of us who show up. You know, some of the best books get swapped out before the con even starts. But this guy was good, and he waited, and he was one of the better booths there, and made a bunch of money that day. And then he went over there and spent it and bought that guy. And the poor guy who sold it, I've seen him at other cons before. He's pretty prolific, and he runs a little small con in Russellville once a year too, in Russellville, Kentucky. And he looked like he was almost in tears for selling that book because he had loved it so much. My advice to him and to any of you who go to these things and sell books is, if you sell books, keep it out of your personal collection. Don't keep it with your collection. If you keep those books with your collection, you'll fall in love with them, and you'll never want to see them go. So if you're sure that you're going to sell a book, keep it as far away from you as you can in a safe location. And when you sell it, or when you go to sell it. And then maybe you won't have that strong connection. But I got to tell you, that House of Secrets 92, it was absolutely gorgeous. And at $1,200 with a double signature and 7.5 in the CGC case witnessed, it was a great steal. So that's just my small bit of advice. Support these local cons. Get out there. Go to these conventions. You're going to score some great stuff. And especially if you're someone who really misses the way cons used to be, these smaller cons are where they're at. So, all right. That's all I'll say about that. I hope you enjoyed this little haul of odds and ends and promos and such. And I've already read a couple of these because these tend to intrigue me more than the long runs, even because I can pick them up, check them out, read them real quick and put them down. So I suggest you do the same. Pull out an odds and end comic, something you can read, a one shot, and read it and enjoy it. Thanks. Bye.